All right, so there's been a whole bunch of talk surrounding the whole Adidas Yeezy controversy, but let's not forget that Ye has just successfully released his very first independent footwear release with the Yeezy PODS. Now, many people would say that these Adidas Yeezy releases are in direct competition with these, but I would have to beg to differ, as I feel like the Yeezy PODS are almost in a lane of their own from the unique design standpoint, and most definitely the $20 retail price point, which I feel like everybody can't stop talking about. Now, I've had these for about 2 weeks or so now, and I wanted to give you guys my updates from the good to the bad. So this is gonna be my Yeezy Pod Week 2 update. Now, you guys already know I was super excited to check these out. We covered these extensively, from the design process, from Stephen Smith and various Yeezy employees sourcing all of the materials. We saw Ye rocking the different prototypes and samples, and these finally eventually dropped for a retail release. So once I got them, you guys already know I was super excited. So much that I rocked these joints like for the first few days, so much I burnt them out. And for the last week, I've just been rocking them like casually or so. So I wanted to start with the positives about these, and I would have to most definitely start off with these joints are super comfortable. And I feel like that comes from the design process. You have a fully knitted sock-like upper, and then you do have a thin sole, and then they are supported by 2 outer pod sole units. So the thin sole provides some comfort, and then these 2 outer pods, provide additional comfort. And with the 2 pod units, they do provide, more motion, which I feel like adds to the comfort. And then surprisingly, they are comfortable on the bottom, but I feel like the knitted upper with the different levels of tension, the compression does add to some comfortability, on your feet. So you got comfort on the bottom as well as on the top. And one thing I did notice that I rocked these joints to my mom's house for like a little Sunday barbecue, and I actually didn't take them off the entire day. I didn't even really notice I was rocking shoes that comfortable. So joints are awesome. They feel great on feet. Durability is great. They've held up within the 2 weeks. This knitted material on the upper is great. I don't really know what it is about it, but it's held up perfectly. No flaws at all. As far as the soles, you have some light traction on the bottom, and they've held up surprisingly well. You'll just notice a few little scuffs here on the rubber, but overall, these have held up extremely well. Now, so let's go ahead and get into the negatives here. And I feel like one of the biggest negatives is the fact that these only are available within 3 sizes. So for me, as far as my experience goes, I got these in a size 2, which are indicated by the dots on the bottom. So we got a 2 for a size 2. Now on Yeezy's website, they do recommend for a size 2 would be men's size 9 through 10.5. Now me being a true to size 10.5, I decided to go with a size 2 just because I felt like if I would have went with that size 3, I would have had a visible amount of room here in the front area. So the 2, while it does work well, my foot, does reach right to the front area. I would say as far as with the back heel, I do notice that my heel does slightly, start to slip off the back. And that's due to the knitted material, due to the fact that they have 2 separate pod units. I will notice that my foot does tend to kind of slip off of the back. I don't know if that would be corrected if I was to get a size 3, but as far as like the comfort and everything, it doesn't affect the comfort. Your foot does actually kind of feel good, hitting that right back heel area. But as far as just the look, I feel like it would look better, if your foot doesn't hang off, but it's not really a big issue. And who knows, I feel like if maybe I would have went with a size 3, they maybe would have like flopped a little more, due to the fact that you would have a little more room here in the front toe area. So overall, I wish they would have dropped them in more sizes. I feel like that would have allowed people to get a better true fit, but then again, can't really complain much. Besides that, I do notice myself sometimes adjusting the pods, after walking them in or whatever. But as far as that goes, I mean, the complaints are just minimal. As I mentioned, everything does fit great. As far as the packaging goes, I mentioned to you guys that they just come in like a little dust bag like this. So I guess the packaging could have been a little more premium or whatever, but I feel like that's where the $20 price point comes in. I feel like, they did have to make some sacrifices in order to give us these at that great retail price price point. So I feel like they probably had to sacrifice the packaging as well as the wide different ranges of sizing. So I feel like as far as sizing goes, it gets kind of difficult for those of us that kind of fall towards the top or bottom of the sizing spectrum. If you kind of, go with something a little too big, you're gonna have that noticeable difference here in the toe area. But if you go with a tighter fitted pod, you will probably notice that your foot may start to sometimes hang off the back heel. You will have to adjust the pods, but other than that, these are just minimal complaints. And I feel like coming in at 20 bucks, this is like a game changer. This is probably something that's revolutionary to the footwear industry. And I think this kind of really exposes, that a lot of these brands, just mark up these high-end retail price points. And at the end of the day, they could probably deliver a lot of these products at much better prices. I also did want to mention that as far as this sock-like upper, you do start to see some visible wrinkles in this, just like you would see with a sock, but I feel like that can be probably fixed by throwing these in like the washer or something like that. And then another interesting point is that this upper portion will start to kind of like form to your feet, interestingly enough. So really cool design. I like the look of it overall. It's like giving super ninja vibes. So I can't get enough of these, and I feel like they're a unique look. And I feel like you guys should definitely check these out for just 20 bucks. I mean, why not? Now, I did kind of stir up a little controversy in my very first review when I mentioned that they could actually price these at 500 bucks. And I think that kind of pissed a few people off. And I just want to double back on that. I wasn't saying that I personally would pay $500 for these. Remember, I'm just a struggling YouTuber, but I feel like as far as like the quality, the amount of wear that you would get out of these, I feel like they could definitely, drop these for 500 bucks. And take a look at Balenciaga. They're going to be dropping their own version of the sock shoe, which just looks almost identical to this. And wait till you guys see how much them joints retail for. I would imagine probably like just under $1,000 or something like that. So coming in at 20 bucks, I feel like these are most definitely a game changer. And I remember somebody did mention in my first video, like, what do people say to you when you're rocking these in public? And y'all gotta remember, I live in Key West, Florida, so there's no like streetwear fashion scene down here. But when rocking these in public, I mean, people really don't say nothing about them, but I have actually had a few people, say something to me about them. And the funny thing about it is people aren't looking at me like, what are those? Like, those look crazy or anything like that. The only people that have stopped me to tell me like, hey, are those the new Yeezys? So it's wild that even in Key West, like, people know these are the Yeezys. And then the first thing that they ask me after I tell them, yeah, they're the Yeezys, they say, did you get the refund for them? So I feel like that was genius marketing for Ye. So many people, know about the Yeezy pods. They know about the whole $200 price. They know they, refunded everybody for the 180, and these joints are just coming in at 20 bucks. So overall, a few negatives, as far as like sizing and stuff like that. You get a couple wrinkles in the upper, which I feel like could be corrected by just throwing these joints in the washer. So for me, they've held up great, still feel good on feet, and have slightly started to kind of like form like a mold actually to my foot shape. So JA is not raw dogging these. I recommend, to rock these joints with socks. I haven't really felt the need to actually like, fully clean these just yet. So far I've just, threw some little light water, just rubbed off the sole or whatever like that. So let me know if you guys want me to do like an update after like a month or so. I know a lot of people are still waiting on their orders. So the only thing I could tell you guys is to be patient. I know some of the people that, ordered these originally when they first dropped in December and are still waiting on their pairs to arrive. And I know other people that ordered them when they went down to 20 bucks. And they've already gotten their pair. So it seems like shipping is all over the place. I would just say to be patient. I could imagine that there's probably like hundreds of thousands of people that are still waiting for their pods to arrive. And of course, without the major backing of a corporation like Adidas, I feel like, they may be just having a slight delay on the whole production or whatever. But overall, man, joints go crazy. Yeezy pods made in Italy coming in at just 20 bucks. I don't know how they're doing it, how they're able to sustain, but this is incredible. And as far as future Yeezy releases goes, I couldn't imagine, Ye dropping independent releases that were more than 20 bucks. I mean, I'm loving this whole $20 price point thing. So let me know if you guys have already got your Yeezy pods. How do you feel about them so far? Or if you're still waiting on your joints, the only thing I could tell you is to be patient. I know that's easy coming from me who's already got my joints, but hey, what are you gonna do? So let me know what y'all think down below. If you enjoyed today's video, help out the channel by dropping a thumbs up. So I'm JA. Make sure you guys stay safe, stay blessed, and I'm out, y'all. Love.